All right. Oh, hey, how's it going? So, this episode, this is actually going to be a two-part. This is going to be a cheercast, a cheer podcast. It's going to be over a few of my cheer kids and just kind of the stuff that they go through as cheerleaders and as student athletes and students at Texas State University, where I coach one of the cheer coaches there. First up, I believe we're going to have Brea Shaw and actually her boyfriend, who's actually on the football team. He's going to talk a little bit about just being on the team and, he had an injury and all that good stuff. So we're going to kind of talk about that, kind of her and his diet, their kind of a little bit of their journey in fitness, but overall just like their life as student athletes. And then part two is going to be three of my honestly, they're hilarious. This is going to be Brianna King, Alexis Marshall, and Rick Harris. So I'm not gonna lie to you, you're gonna crack up. All of them have to just you'll see. So anyways, I think you're gonna absolutely enjoy it. I had a blast doing it, so I think you guys will have a blast listening to it. This is the Corner of the Circle. Boom, and we're live. Hey. So, we have the one, the only, one of my favorites, one of my babies, one of my cheer girls, Miss Brea Shaw. Yay. What up? So, listen, we're just gonna ask you a bunch of just different questions. Kind of explained to you that earlier. For the people that don't know anything about you, give people a quick rundown of who you are.
I'm 20 years old. I'm a sophomore at TxSt, a marketing major, and I'm a cheerleader.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. Yeah, so it'll be awesome for those of you that are actually going to be listening to this actual podcast or the SoundCloud or whatever. Like it's gonna suck for you because you don't get to actually see her. For those of you guys that are going to be checking it on the YouTube channel, you're like, oh snap. That's that girl that I always DM about. Yeah. So, yeah, man. So, Bree's that girl that the girls want to be like and the guys want to be with. So she's like perfect. And then you see her, then you see her boyfriend. He's perfect too. So like they're like that perfect couple that you get mad at. You know what I mean? And as far as your life, love, where are you from?
From Houston.
You're from the H.
Hmm?
All right. That's awesome.
The best ever.
Oh my God, it's okay. It's not the best ever, but it's okay. So I'm assuming that you're going for the Rockets in the playoffs and all that stuff.
Duh.
I'm over you already. I don't know if I want to do this.
I really don't keep up with the Rockets.
It's all good. It's all good. So how long have you been cheering and doing all that cheer stuff?
13 years.
13 years.
Hmm.
And you started like just from a tyke and just all the way through.
Yep. I was the youngest of four girls, and so by the time I got to the sports age, my parents just threw me in cheer.
That's what's up. That's awesome. So we're going to talk about that right now, actually. So as far as like your upbringing and everything, like tell me a little bit about like, growing up, coming up, the family and all that good stuff. You can talk, just say whatever. Go for it. Go.
I was the baby. Everyone always thinks the baby's spoiled, but I wasn't. You get all the hand-me-downs, and you have the sisters that give you the life lessons, and I love being the baby. We were all cheerleaders, though. We were all little models of each other, and it was awesome.
I'm glad you said model. Actually, we're gonna talk. I'm literally I can do what I want to do. I'm interrupting right now. So you just got back from Dallas, huh? I'm doing some modeling stuff, right?
That was the best thing ever.
Yeah, man.
I did the Arkansas uniform, Florida uniform, SMU's uniform.
So you did all the college ones?
Yep.
That's what's up. That's great. Josh like, you'll never guess. I was like, what's happening? She goes, Bree's on the way to Dallas. I'm like, for what? She goes, to do that varsity modeling thing. I'm like, oh, word. Figure. It was only a matter of time. Figured every time, like, yeah, dude, like, it's funny. When you guys see her, you're like, oh, okay, I see why. I understand why. Freaking, she's all like long and tall and super pretty and blonde, and it's, I want to throw stuff at her when I see her. Sometimes like, stop being perfect.
It's funny. They were really surprised by how tall I was.
That they thought you were gonna be a lot shorter.
They thought I was gonna be a lot short.
And the funny thing is, like, I mean, in traditionally with our cheer girls, especially co-ed, we have at least one or two tall girls every year. Like that's kind of like a tradition. It's been that way as long as I've been there. Like I just like the way like tall girls look in the air. You know what I mean? And I mean a lot of places. People that aren't familiar with cheer, most of the time with co-ed, your taller girls don't necessarily get that co-ed nod. Usually the taller girls, they may end up on like the all-girl squad. But for co-ed, for the most part, the trend has been kind of leaning towards the shorter girl. You know, the shorter baby doll, you know, girl that, you know, is like barely over 5 foot. Most of the time they're, you know, like low, like pretty much like 5'1" and below. You know what I'm saying? And you're definitely not 5'1".
No,
5'6" or below. You are 5'6", and then she is every bit of 5'6". Like she coughs one time, she might end up being 5'7". So yeah, she's a tall one, she's a long one. But when she pulls a stretch, it looks freaking awesome. When she pulls that lib, it literally looks like the Statue of Liberty. So the only part that, you know, that people I think they forget as far as cheer goes is when you're a taller top girl, you know, you tend to, you know, not necessarily run into problems, but I've noticed that, you know, you guys end up kind of running into problems with like just finding guys not necessarily strong enough to put you up because like you're 100 pounds and change, but like finding guys that are, you know, that are long enough to finish the toss to get you up there. What's that like? I always wonder what that's like. I mean, I see it all the time, and I never asked.
Well, it's actually I kind of ran into that problem in Dallas. So there was a guy from Bama and a guy from Ole Miss with me, and I started with the guy from Ole Miss, and it took us a couple of tosses to get our timing right.
Right.
By the time we got it, though, it was good. I just had to tell him to really wait on that flick with me, and I really had to just talk to him before we got it right.
Yeah, man.
His flyer was a good 5'1".
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's and the thing that people don't understand in terms of like just, you know, not necessarily just the laws of physics, but it's just the law of patience. When you have such a long person, and with you the way you're built, like you have pretty long legs, you have a pretty like a mid-range torso, you know, you have fairly long arms and everything. So that all, you know, lends itself to, as far as co-ed stunning goes, having to really wait because you're really powerful and quick in terms of coming off the ground. But even though you're that quick coming off the ground, if a guy's going to toss, they really have to wait. And then what they finally, the thing is, if they just, once they figure out the timing, they figure out the toss, like, oh crap, you fly every single time. So that's awesome thing. It gets, it's just funny because like your waist is like freaking dang near a 0, but then your body's like long, like, so like you're built like a freaking, you know, a basketball point guard, you know what I'm saying? But then your waist is like as big as my arm. So there's that thing. So, that's the one thing that not necessarily a problem that we run into, but a problem that it seems to kind of have to be addressed every single time with every guy that ends up coming in. Like, hey, by the way, she's light as a feather, but you're gonna have to wait because she's probably she's long as the state of Texas, so you got to wait a little bit. So it is what it is. So that's dope. So let's go back to the family thing. So you said you guys are all little models of each other and everything, and then I interrupt you. So all right, get back on your story. Go.
So we were all cheerleaders. One of my sisters actually cheered for the Texans. And then there was one sister who's the different one. You know, she did theater and had the curly brown hair. And
so you guys aren't all carbon copy blondes?
Nope, just Brookie's the only different one.
She's the only different one?
Yep. Anytime we go to get our nails done, they say, oh, you're the adopted one. She's like, no. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, like, are all the girls tall in the family, too?
There's 2 of us that are tall and 2 are short.
That's crazy. So, do you take after your mom or dad?
Dad.
Okay.
For sure.
That's funny. So, like, growing up, were you like the big time daddy's girl, or did you like kick with moms really hard, or?
Mom more, because Mom liked to cheer. Dad would have preferred us to do sports.
Oh, so it's all girls in the family?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that poor man.
Yep.
That poor
Yep.
man. So I gotta know this because I was one of this because I have a couple buddies, man, that grew up that way because they were the only boy and or a couple of my homegirls that grew up with all girls.
Yeah.
Did he have like his like man cave to get away from everyone, or he was just stuck
Nope.
with y'all?
He was stuck with us.
Oh my gosh.
When I was little, though, I was kind of tomboy. Like in elementary school, since our mom was the PE teacher,
Uh huh.
I really took that role of like the PE teacher's daughter and like ran the fastest mile, was like super competitive. So in elementary school, I was kind of his girl, did the sports talks with him and all that. But then once middle school came around and we started out for school cheer, that's when it all changed.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And the thing is, you're still super competitive. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, you're hella competitive. Like that's for sure. That's awesome, man. All right, so I have a million jillion questions, man. So you're marketing major,
Yep.
dude. That's what's up. I have a degree in marketing. That's what I'm
Very.
talking about. So like, oh, so you're a sophomore, right?
Mhm.
So you're just now starting into your actual.
My actual classes, yeah.
Ooh,
I know.
it's all good. You have to take accounting, right?
Yep.
So what?
I just got my internship lined up.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do?
She's my uncle's fiance, has a private marketing firm in Houston.
That's fire. That is fire. Congratulations.
Thank you. The first 2 months of summer, I'm gonna go work with her at home.
Oh, that's gonna be dope. So then you can like kick it at home and get the home cooked meals
Yeah.
and have mom do all the crap for you and
Yeah.
then like go and be all professional.
I was gonna do one in Dallas with the Dallas. I actually should be getting an interview with them soon, but I don't know if I want to buy an apartment to be in Dallas just for 3 months.
That's true.
So I
You
don't
can
know.
always, girl. You can always Airbnb.
That's true.
Jeez and life.
Oh, my junior summer though.
You have time. Man. You're young, yo. You have time. So like all right. So for those of you guys that don't really know, in terms of just kind of the cheer responsibilities of a college cheerleader, we asked them to do a lot of stuff, man. And so from man, I'm trying to think of just. I don't even really know when the season starts. The season actually really starts as soon as trials is over with. Like you literally you don't necessarily have an off time. I mean, if ever there were an off period, I would say between trials are usually like late April, early May, and then you have a little point. I think maybe you have like a 2 week period where you can kind of enjoy. Oh, I made the squad, and then you have to start making sure that you have the requirements, and or if you don't have the requirements, make sure you maintain those requirements. So when it comes time for that first get together of the team, the official get together of the team, like everybody's on point. So you've kind of emerged, not kind of, but you really have emerged as one of the leaders in the last, I want to say year and a half, man. From actually kind of from the time you got there, the torches kind of passed, and and it wasn't even one of those things where all right, guess what, you're a leader. You've kind of just kind of stepped into that role and kind of done your thing. What's been the difference, I guess, from being the fresh fish to kind of being one of the vets that people kind of look to? What's that been like?
It's a lot of personal responsibility. I know that even if I don't want to do something, I need to so that other people will want to do it too.
Right.
Or kind of take that responsibility. I like it. So.
Yeah. You start to it's kind of cool, man, because it's one of those things where I mean, as coaches, we kind of obviously we get to talk around the water cooler about you guys and who's doing well and who's not doing so well and who's stepping up and everything. And it's one of those things where it was never one of those things who's really stepping up? Bree, she's really stepping up, because it's one of those things where it just kind of gradually happened. And it really wasn't one of those things where oh, I'm going to make this power move and just try to be the go-to girl. It was kind of one of those things where, all right, you know what, we need you for stuff, you're there. If we need stuff to get done, you get it done. Not even necessarily having to be asked or anything, but just it was one of those things where all right, she's getting it done. So having you on the team has it hasn't even really been one of those things where how do I say this? You always know every year that you have a person on the team, and then there's some that you feel dude, they just have always been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you feel like you've like kind of just always kind of been around, even though you haven't really been around a long time. I was the same way with Nolan. I was like, dude, we've had Nolan like 3-4 years. Like, no, we haven't. Like, what? We haven't? You know, like I feel like there's about 4 or 5 of you guys that I feel like you guys have always been around, even though you haven't necessarily been around a lot. Like, I mean, you guys have been through a lot in the last 2.5 years, so it's just kind of cool seeing y'all's evolution. So for those of you people, obviously, like most people that listen to this thing, they're more like fitness related or whatever. They don't necessarily know that you guys actually have to do stuff. You actually have to do physical activity. You actually have to work out. Tell me about some of those, or I should say, tell them about some of those early morning workouts and stuff that you guys have to do.
So last year we did the 6A, and Jocelyn really worked a lot of core and arms.
Mm-hmm.
Jumping. That was my favorite part, is when you learn how to like explode off the bottom, which really goes into cheer, because there are a lot of things that we can do outside the gym that'll help with like anything in the practice.
Right.
Like cooking, everything.
So, as far as those 6 a.m.s and everything, like I know you guys dreaded those, man, and I know like she would happen because I remember she goes, "Are you gonna make those 6 a.m.s?" Like, no, I have clients, but I'll give you all of the workouts that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just send her just different workouts, and she goes, "Oh, this is gonna kill him." Like, yeah, that's the whole idea. This is supposed to kill him. Some of you guys made it through, some of you guys didn't. But I feel like in the past we've had early morning workouts, and sometimes we get some stuff done, sometimes we don't. Most of the time, people hate them. I mean, I hated them. I hated every single time my coaches made me do it. So it's from football to track. I hated every single time I had to do an early morning workout because it never felt like my body was ready to roll. But you tend to be as far as if people saw you on the street, they would swear that you were like completely like a fitness chick.
Yeah.
They would swear you were a fit chick. And then they find out like, oh crap, she's on the sidelines. Like, oh my god, there goes a cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of funny because like I've had a couple people that have come to me and asked me like, hey, so like, what does she do? Is she one of your clients? Like, no, she's actually not. I'm gonna start claiming you as one of mine. Like, yeah, she's one of my girls.
I'll give you the rights.
I'm like, yeah, this is an after pick. You should see how she looked before. Like, I'm gonna make up some lie. I don't know. It is what it is. But kind of tell people about your diet, because we make fun of you a lot about your diet or lack thereof or whatever it is.
Yeah. People were giving me a hard time about it yesterday. Everyone always thinks I'm one of those people that can just eat whatever I want and look skinny, but I can't. Me and Mason are actually really hard on ourselves about it. I eat for breakfast usually oatmeal or eggs, and then lunch I do a lot of greens and fruits, and then dinner comes around and I'm usually the basic chicken, rice, and vegetables.
Awesome. Like, and you actually do eat meat.
Yes, all the time.
That's Wait, which one? Which one is which one? Oh, it's Nyla that doesn't eat meat.
Yeah, Nyla's vegetarian.
I'm like, that's whack, dude. That's for suckers, dude. I hate that. Yeah, it makes me super, super, super angry. So you do eat meat. Do you know how many calories that you intake for the most part, or you just kind of eat? You don't necessarily track in terms of.
I track more of like protein versus carbs versus sugar.
Mm-hmm. You try to keep it like fairly low carb. Like you try to like cycle your carbs kind of around like your workouts and stuff like that. And look at you being on point.
After I work out, I like to do dried fruit. Gives you a little energy boost after.
That's what's up. Look at you guys. Wow, look at her knowing about her diet. That's good. No, I tend to do the same thing, but I don't look like you at all. I gotta keep that fat up, man. Freaking this weight is unforgiving. That's what's up. So tell me, we're gonna talk about Mason a little bit. Tell me about. Quit looking over at him. Tell me about Mason. Tell me about how you guys met. And actually, tell get Mason. Get him. Where's he at? I know he's right over there.
Working on a little activity over here.
What's up, man? All right, so for those of you guys that don't know, Mason's one of our star football players at Texas State University. He has actually in terms of routes, he runs probably the best routes of any of the guys that I've seen out there. You got some good feet, dude. I never told you to your face, but I'm telling you now. That's why I'm a fan. He runs
Appreciate it.
with some really good routes. Crisp. That's very rare. Anyways, so Mason, tell people about yourself.
I'm from Longview, Texas, East Texas, if anybody knows where that is. It's about 2.5 hours east of Dallas.
Yes, sir.
Went to a high school that wasn't very good at sports, and so it wasn't the easiest place to get recruited out of. From there, I went to a junior college that was kind of a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Spent a year there, and then got a TxSt offer at a camp in the summer, and I've been here ever since.
And wait, what's your position? They need to know.
I play receiver.
Plays receiver. And so Mason, you're kind of a big body guy. So you can. I've seen you slide it up. I've seen you split out. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've even seen them have you at some tight end every now and again.
I'll play a little bit of slide and kind of move inside.
Yeah.
It kind of like is a wing position on our offense.
Yeah. I've seen that. Like I've seen them make some hard matchups for that free safety, trying to figure out what they're gonna do. I'm like, okay. Anytime they bring him in, okay. So the number of you guys that actually watch football, like you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't, you probably should start Googling or educate yourself on it. There's been times that they'll I think there's a couple times that they had you kind of split out. They would motion you in. And I would literally watch that free safety like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Because like no joke, there's been a couple of games where you were just getting off, and they just didn't have an answer for what you were doing. I mean, because I think once they had a corner over you one time, you motioned in, and so they bumped it over to the free safety, and the free safety was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And you ended up running like. I don't know if it was a stop. It was some route, dude. And he ended up just kind of peeling to the ground. I'm like, oh, this is a wrap. That was low-key. That was like when I was like, oh, shit, this dude is fire. That was when I first noticed. And at the time, I didn't know this little bugger was talking to you at all. So I was like, that dude is fire. And I just kept saying, like, dude, they need to keep throwing it to him. Keep beating that dude. And Ricky's like, that's Bree's dude. I'm like, what? Say a word? All right, cool. Now, normally, I'll be honest. Like anybody that knows me and how I am about my cheer girls and their boys, I'm like, man, he's a football player, man. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I say this because I was a football player, so I know. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't know, man. I do. And then if they're a baller, nah, man. If he rode the bench, that'd be different. Like, oh, he's probably a good guy. He rides the bench. Bench warmers usually they're probably halfway decent dudes. Those dudes that get that PT and are good, I don't know. This is from my personal experience. Listen, I'm just learning from my own mistakes. Okay, I just want you to learn from my mistakes. Right? But yeah, so that was pretty crazy, man. Like seeing that and then finding that out, man. And then no sooner than I find that, I think it was like 2 plays later you scored. I'm like, Jesus, this dude is fire. And I was losing my mind. And I think that's when you saw me lose my mind. Like, dude, that dude is so legit. Your dude is legit. So I just I don't know. So that was, I don't know. I forget what game that was, man. But you were making hella problems for a lot of people that game. So I was like, all right, Coach Withers, I see what you're doing. Use your guy. Of course, for me, I don't think they could have thrown you the ball enough. But I mean, I'm sure you agree. But that's just how I am about everything. So how did you guys meet?
So, yeah, the Arkansas game last year, whenever we got in the bus wreck, is the first time that we had met. He had seen, I went to the bathroom in the stadium, was coming out to get on the bus, and one of the guys on the team messaged me on Twitter and said that I went to high school with, and he was like, hey, a couple guys on the bus, like, I see you and want to, like, get to know you. I was like, oh, God, so I just, didn't reply. And then when the bus wrecked on the way to the game, we got off the bus, and a couple of his friends came up and talked to me, and then I saw him in the locker room after that game because we couldn't cheer that game. We ended up just laying outside of the locker room.
Yeah.
And so I saw him after that. And then when we got back to San Marcos, my mom came to stay with me because I had a concussion and I still had classes. And he left flowers on the doorstep. Said, I hope you have a good Thanksgiving and I hope you get better.
Say word. That is nice. That is real nice. I don't even think I would have done something like that. Dang, that was nice. Yo, whoever's listening, take note. That's fly. That's super fly. And then it just kind of just blossomed from there.
And then I met my sister and I said, thanks for the flowers. And it kind of blossomed from there.
I see what you did. The flowers and the blossom. Nice.
Oh,
Well done, man. So what's? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get back to you, baby girl. We're talking to Mason right now. So what's on your plate right now? So what's the plan now?
Dude, lots of rehab, man. Lots of rehab and trying to train and work around it and do everything I can to get back and get healthy.
He had that injury.
Yeah, that's right. I wasn't even gonna mention it, dude. I was gonna just keep on rolling. But yeah, let's talk about that because we're gonna talk about both ends of that. So give me the quick rundown of what that whole deal was. What was like, what it's about.
Man, it's been rough. I ended up with a broken fibula, dislocated ankle, and it was something that I thought was going to be probably 3 months tops.
Yeah.
I'd be back for spring ball and be good and rolling again. But ended up having 3 surgeries instead of one, just like different complications and whatnot. And so we started spring ball. We just got done with week 1.
Right.
Got a new defensive coordinator, so we pushed spring ball back. So I thought I might have a chance.
Yeah.
But it's still not 100% yet, and so just trying to ease my way back in everything. I mean, it's definitely frustrating at times and whatnot, but I'm just doing everything I can to work and get back and work around it.
Yeah, that's crazy because I mean, God, man, I you know what? I was blessed in both universities I played in. I never necessarily I had like a shoulder, a separated shoulder one time, but it was during spring ball, so it didn't necessarily keep me out. But I mean, a lot of people, especially those that that are really trying to get on, really trying to get into that starting rotation or that top 2 part of the depth chart, man, they really rely on spring ball to kind of propel themselves, into that rotation. Whereas you actually got hurt, what I'm saying, being, the number 1 guy, number 2 guy, like you were already in that rotation. So I don't know that it necessarily hurts you, but I know as far as just as a player, with just getting reps and getting in the swing of things and getting some type of time with the quarterback and just honestly, man, I mean, just getting the grass under your cleats, dude. Like I don't think people understand like it's torture. You know what I mean? So the rehab that one has to do and just the time that you have to put in, like it's for 10, 11, 12, if you're lucky, 13, maybe 14 games, maybe if you're lucky. Like you do hours on hours on hours on hours of rehab, hours on hours and hours of just training and everything else just for a shot. I mean, for the most part, you might get 20 minutes, 25 minutes total of playing time, when it's all said and done splitting between offense and defense and everything. Like what's your regimen kind of like right now, just with the rehab and everything else? What's that like?
Well, that's the thing. Whenever all our ACL guys, me, we had a guy who had a shoulder surgery, a torn labrum. Those guys, I mean, we still have to do everything else the team's got to do.
Yeah.
And it's still, hours of rehab on top of it to make sure we're getting better. And so right now, I mean, we're up there. I mean, I get up to say about 4:30 just to try to get my ankle ready, get going, mobilize a little bit, and before we start meetings and all that stuff. And so we're still in meetings and everything with the team. We have breakfast up there, and then we head out to the field, and we have what's all the hurt guys. It's where we all go. It's called the pit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're out there in the pit doing pit stuff, and the pit's basically stuff you don't want to do, so you want to get back out to the field faster.
Yeah.
So it sucks. It's great for those guys who maybe don't want to practice today, and they go over and want to say something's hurt, their hamstrings today, and so coach will send you over to the pit, and you're like, never mind, I want to practice.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest of those guys don't really got a choice. It's rough because I mean we're there every day, all practice, all spring, and so yeah, that's what we're doing the whole time for the 2 hours we're out there, and then after that we're back in to go rehab, get through our entire rehab workout, go do manual therapy. Meanwhile, we're still lifting and all the lifts throughout the week, and so I mean it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a lot. And so between all that, what was it like for you, Brea, when you saw him get hurt? Because I know, like you had that look on your face, like, oh no.
It was the worst thing ever. It was hard seeing. I mean, the biggest part of the injury was the mental side of it.
Right.
You know, you have to watch him get everything taken away from him and have to deal with it. And I've never had an injury or anything, so I've never had to experience that. I've never had cheer taken away from me, or it was hard. Just being supportive.
Like so right, I know you told me a little bit like he's when we were, I think we were in the middle of we were in the middle of 2-a-days doing our own little thing, man. You're like, yeah, he's working out and getting all the stuff together and everything, man. Like, so that's, man. Like I said, I hats off to you, man, because I've never had to go through like injury like that. I think I had a strained hamstring a couple times in track, but I mean they babied us in track, so I mean, it was one of those things like, oh, you'll be okay. Just do a little contrast and you're good. We'll stretch you out, you'll be good. So yeah, dude, that's crazy, man. So now like Mason's one of those like I used to ghost follow. And now like officially follow him, so I'm like, dude, this guy's balling. Most of the guys, if they don't have a private account, and I know that my girls date, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna follow this dude. And so like I have, I'm joking, I have a list of like all of the names. I'm like, all right, let's check him out, see what he's about. All right, he's a good guy. Let's check him out, see what he's about. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Like, it's the hard part that I think people, they tend to forget is like, when you're legit at the lone grown male amongst a full cheer team, like it's like some days you have to be dad, some days you gotta be grandpa, some days you gotta be brother, some days you gotta be the cool uncle. I mean, most days I feel like most days I feel like just Darth Vader. I'm like, dude, I just want to kill everybody because like it's just there doesn't seem to be a lot of discipline. So all my teams that I've ever had, I've always run them like a football team. Like I don't, if you're hurt, all right, cool, you're hurt, whatever. Are you injured? It's different. You know what I mean? Like you're just, and of course, I mean, real tell you, I don't really care if you're hurt or not. I'm like, you're not. Hurt. Like I'm most likely to laugh. You know what I mean? Like I don't treat anybody any different. Everybody catches it. If you piss me off, I'm gonna let you know. If you're working, then if you're working, you'll hear nothing from me. But if you're not, you're probably gonna get something out of me. So I think the boys are now just starting to realize like, hey, we probably actually have to lift the weight now. We actually have to do something. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it all ends up. So with all of that, man, kind of give them a rundown because I know we kind of reached out to you a little bit later in during competition season about actually being on the team just because you pretty much already kind of had your Christmas break kind of planned. You were going to do your thing and everything, and I feel like this is gonna suck, man, because like normally Christmas break, college, like I get to spend time with my family, I get to spend time with my boyfriend and girlfriend, I get to kind of chill out, and we're like, hey, so we're wondering, would you like to be on the team? For those out there, like, people always ask about the whole cheer thing, so I try to give people kind of a rundown how it works. So basically they go through tryouts, right? And so from tryouts all the way until, I want to say cheer camp, which is usually mid-July, right? Yeah. From tryouts to mid-July, they pretty much have a point to where, we might meet once or twice before then. But for the most part, they have that summer to themselves to kind of make sure they're in shape, that they're ready to roll, that that nothing's messed up, and then that they have their affairs in order before we all meet again. So then we get them. Then we go to cheer camp, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. We go to cheer camp, and they do their thing at cheer camp, and that's kind of like almost a pre. If ever how Mason had talked about spring ball. Cheer camp is almost like our spring ball for cheerleading. It's kind of where you find out who's going to be your good ones, who's going to be your bad ones, who actually steps up during competition, and or who's going to kind of fold, and those people that need a little bit more development. No, it's not necessarily that they suck or anything. It's just that some people, they tend to step up when it comes time for camp, when it comes time for get out in front of people, because we pretty much try to simulate a lot of like game time situations at camp. So that's where, no joke, if you ever have a chance to go to TxSt game and watch Brea, she murders. She's one of the, she's awesome. She's awesome on mat, but she's literally one of the best game day cheerleaders you'll ever see. If there could be 20 things wrong, but you would never know that. That's a big thing. Yeah, you got to fake it till you make it. Yeah. And, and believe it or not, she's one of the few girls that, it's weird saying this, but you're one of the few girls that, as a coach, you can kind of sit by the crowd and listen. Like, you're one of the few ones that they don't make fun of you a lot. which is awesome. They don't
Oh,
have a lot of trash talk, which is it's the truth. That's a part of the game.
yeah.
So yeah, so they'll go through cheer camp and everything, and they'll do their thing, and then we have our own 2 days, sometimes 3 days, and in all that time, they have to be at just different. I mean, different practices, different appearances, because it usually is the beginning of the year. So you make your way all the way through all of that, and then you make your way through football season, and football season intersects with basketball season, and by that time it intersects with volleyball, and you have men and women's basketball rolling around. So at one point, I believe it's late November, early December. Usually football's going, basketball's going, women's basketball's going, and volleyball's going at the same time. So we literally have there's like I guess about 3 or 4 points where all 4 sports are intersecting, and at the same time, we're trying to figure out who, what, when, and where we're going to do our competition. So that's where that's what we're fast forwarding to right now. We're fast forwarding to that mid-December point where we're getting ready to let everybody go, and we're getting ready to bring all the people on the comp squad back, and so. There's a point where, we have people injured. We have people that, it's college. Some people decide, you know what, especially freshmen, this isn't for me. Yeah. I'm going to go home. Sometimes, you could be as far as, 20 miles from home. Sometimes it's 200. Sometimes it's 2,000. But some people decide that college isn't for them, and they don't plan on coming back for that next semester, come January. So we ran into that point, and we needed to add, a couple more top girls to the regimen or to the roster, and your name's first on the list, and you're like, all right. Now, obviously, competition is voluntary for those people that we ask, and to ask somebody is like, oh, well, basically, I'm asking you, can I take your winter break away from you and make you come back to school to, possibly be on the mat, possibly not, but just, to be one more extension of this team, one more extension of this program. So that's what we did. We reached out and asked her, and she was, most gracious, like, yeah, let's do it. And she came back, and, was, on the comp squad and everything, and the hard part that the role that she had to play was not necessarily, it's hard. You can't even necessarily even call an alternate with cheer. You can't necessarily call them a person in waiting. It's just, they're the person that has to pretty much learn everyone's position in case, that person goes, whatever. So it's not necessarily an alternate position, because there's been times where, like, all right, well, you can't be here. All right, Brea, you get in there, knock it out. Or, we need a different look. All right, that top girl, she looked good up there, but she's not as long as we need, and her stretch isn't as pretty as we need it to be. Hey, Brea, we need you to get in there and make that happen. So you pretty much have to play utility during that point. What is that point like when, not necessarily the alternate part, but just when for a fact that you have to play the role of utility? Like, what's that like, getting that call from the time you got that call to the time we got to Orlando? Let us know about that.
It was scary, because there were some days where I was like, there's no way that I could, like, mentally prepare myself to just step in for someone else's position. But then it's just kind of like, everyone is, like, depending on you. So it was really a mental thing for me. There were some practices where I knew that, like, someone got hurt before, and so I was, like, nervous the next practice going in, but I would just kind of tell myself, if it happens, it happens, and I have to step up, and it is what it is.
You got it done, man. You got it done. So what was it like? I've talked about it with a few coaches and a few people just via, like, DM and everything about, like, the coaching thing and how it feels as a coach. But was it feel like as an athlete when let's take it to that point where we got to the our final show off performance that we did at Strahan in the Coliseum, whatever. What was that like with everybody hitting and everything? Like, kind of tell people don't understand. Okay, we that was our first time we hit the routine full out, no drops and everything else. Like, kind of give people an idea of what that whole thing's like from the time that we start practicing to the time we actually get to the first time we hit full out.
It's the most, like, exhilarating feeling ever. I just remember standing on the back of that mat after that routine and just screaming. Like, I was almost crying. And I wasn't even actually in it, but it's just so proud because, like, there is so much work that goes into it, so much pain. Just, like, I don't know, even knowing that like you didn't get to go home for Christmas, you didn't get to see your family,
Right.
but that one moment makes all of that worth it.
Sheesh, man. Like waking up 6 every day to go do it and then going back home, sleeping for like an hour if you
Yep.
slept at all, just to get back up and then go. And then the part that always got me was like you would see everyone else's social media like, oh my God, it's
Yes.
wonderful Christmas time and
Decorate cookies.
yeah, man. Like it wasn't even like the fact for me. It wasn't even the fact that people got to go home. It was the fact that they got to go home and eat. You know what I mean? Because like I think I was getting ready for. I was just starting my dieting for meat, and I was already super fluffy, so I was already pissed off that I was gonna have to lose all that weight. And so there was that. But then coming there and the weather was so fickle like during December. So it was like, man, it's gonna be cold, it's gonna be hot. I don't really know. And then what gym are we gonna be in? And are we gonna get kicked out of this gym for this or that? I mean, and of course, right now we have a big time construction project going on at our school. So sometimes the gym's available, sometimes it's not. Sometimes we got to go upstairs to that dark dungeon gym, and I just hated that part. But I kind of I was like you, like I kept thinking about about from the time we first started, and people not even thinking that we could do these skills to like get to that final routine where we just nailed it, and everybody's at the back of the mat. And of course, as no secret, I'm a crybaby, so I'm crying. I look over, Jocelyn's crying. I'm like, all right, man, dude. So I guess we're just gonna be the crying bunch, man. And just that was like the first time I think, I mean, we've always been a team, but as far as that competition team goes, I think that was the most galvanized experience for everybody because everybody did their job. And at that point, I think, I think we had a couple times where we yelled at you guys, and that was only two. You know what I mean? But like. I mean, I remember I yelled, and I was, I remember I was pissed because, like, all right, you got these ladies on the side, they're doing their job, and the people on the mat aren't doing their job, and I think of all the years that we've had, I just call it utility because you're definitely not an alternate. That we've had like our utility unit. You guys are probably the best ones that we had because this is the first time, like, literally, you guys could have gone in and done any position. You know what I mean? Which is, is weird. I mean, with you, the way you're built, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have much weight to you, but I mean, you're pretty strong for your size, thank goodness. But because you're long, you know what I mean? If we needed you to step in as a back spot, people don't understand what a back spot is. Back spot is, she's usually the taller of all the girls with a longer reach, you know what I mean? And they're fairly strong, and, they just make sure the stunt stays secure pretty much. You could have stepped in as a base. I mean, you guys have played around being bases and stuff like that with each other. And of course, you could have been a top girl. And crazy thing enough, you're small enough that you can even be a top. You're just super tall. So I mean, as far as like your body's capabilities, you can pretty much do everything. So having for me personally as a coach, I tend to look for girls a lot like Brea that have a hybrid. I just call it a hybrid body because you literally can almost do everything. If we need you to be a base, you can be a base. But for the most part, especially with our guys, it's cool having a super tall girl because of this. Most of the times with cheer boys, you're gonna have one or two things. You're gonna have a super little dude, or you're gonna have a super tall dude. There's usually no in between. There's a couple in betweens, but usually you're gonna have one or the other. So if you have a little bit of a short guy, you actually want a girl that can kind of help match up. Well, Brea kind of helps a lot with the matchup just because she is so long and so tall, and because she's so small, and so light. Like literally anyone can toss her and keep her up there. So then the stunts end up looking symmetrical, which is But then. Yeah, but then again, sometimes you want that super long, tall stunt. So like you throw the tall girl on the tall boy, and you get, you'll get that Eiffel Tower, which like everybody seems to love, and those are usually the pictures that make the print every single time. It's like that super tall one. And for for the people around around here, your face, like they're no stranger to your face at this point, just because it seems like every other publications has your face somewhere on it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I really got to know what that's like because that's never gonna happen to me. Like, I was born this way. I'm always gonna be this way. Like, so what's that like? Like, pretty much like every other freaking TxSt publication having your face on it somewhere.
I love it. Pride in it. I don't know. It's really cool getting to represent TxSt.
Like you
And that was a big thing for me. Like coming into TxSt, I was nervous about it as like a freshman because a lot of people at school thought it was like the party school and blah blah blah. So I was always nervous about it. So everything I do for TxSt and for cheer, I try to just make other people look at us better.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
to make the image better.
yeah, dude, because it's taken a lot of work. Good Lord.
Yeah.
It used to be bad. When I got here, it was like I've been here. This is year 10, and oh my gosh, like we went from our cheer teams, getting drunk in a parking lot to before camp to like now it's like a super nice collegiate team and everyone's like super nice and everyone really loves them and all that stuff. So it's really cool, man. Like I'm excited as a coach. It's cool watching you guys and kind of watching the evolution of the program. Like it's something we've kind of dreamed of kind of making better. So that's dope. All right, so here we go. Ready for the questions? They're coming.
Oh gosh.
You're fine. All right. So, if you are stuck on an island, what are 3 things that you would take with you?
Water, a knife, and a gun.
Water, knife, and a gun. Okay, bet. Why the water, knife, and the gun? Need to know why.
Okay, so a knife so that I could cut stuff up, or like if I needed to make a house, I could do that. Guns, I could protect myself. And then water, because you can't drink ocean water.
Okay.
Or take like a Brita filter.
Too late. Are we gonna take a Brita filter? How?
Same thing.
Because it's gonna be pressurized. You gonna have a pressurized fountain as well.
You get the liter thing that you put the Brita filter in, so you just put the water in and it cleans it.
That's cool. Girl, I don't know anything about that filtered water. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Texas, in the middle of the state.
You drink tap water?
I've drank tap water, hose water, well water. Just drink water. All I need is a fire. Boil my water, set it on the side. I'll sip it later. There. Yeah, this is the life that we live.
Purify it yourself.
I mean, you have to. All right, here we go. Wait, where's Mason at? He's back there?
Yep.
I'm here.
What's 3 things, man? Give me 3 things that you would use if you're stuck on an island.
Oh man, it's something better than Breeze.
Shut up.
I'll probably take a gun too. That's probably the one that I would go with her. I would not bring water. Dude, I think one of them would have to be like a Bible or something to keep me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And man, a dog. A dog. Can I bring a dog?
You know what, man? Okay, this is complete honesty. So far, every time I've asked that question, I'm like, why would you not take... My Ryan Doris, he said he'd bring his brother. So I'm like, awesome. But if I was stuck on an island, I would have to have a companion. I would have to.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's too late. I mean, but let's be honest. Like, that's probably... Yeah, a dog and a gun is pretty much all you need. I think, yeah. Yeah, and like, I think a couple people, like one guy, Kelly Brown's like, I'd take... What did he say he'd take? He would take a rack, weights,
Oh my
and
god.
a bar. But I mean, he's the strongest man in Canada. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And,
Jesus.
yeah, man. Like, listen, lifting his life for. Hey, you forget on this side of the world, lifting his life for us. Okay, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Actually, I'm gonna put that in one of my top answers. A dog. No one ever said a dog, and all the time I've ever had, even the ones I've been asked, and the ones that I've heard people ask other people, no one's ever said, "Oh, I'll take a dog." It's always been, "God, can I take somebody with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool." I would easily take a dog. That's what's up.
Do you have a dog?
Not anymore.
Oh.
All my dogs are dead now. I'm gonna get another one though. I'm gonna get like 3 though, for real.
You should get a Great Dane.
Nah, man. We had a Great Dane. She was albino and deaf.
What?
Yeah, her name was Faith. She was albino and deaf.
Poor baby.
Hey, listen, she didn't know any better. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, she's a funny one. The Great Danes are funny. One thing is like, because they don't live so long, like that's always like, man, that hurts when they're gone. So I'm like, man, but I mean they're like one of the biggest, funniest like dogs. They're just big and funny. They're just big and funny. But yeah, like I think my next set of dogs I'm gonna go with are gonna be Frenchies.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
Frenchie.
Yeah, man. So I already got the names picked out. So I'm like, all right, That's how I am. I pick the names first and then I get the dog. So,
Mhm.
yeah, man. So we're going to do that. All right. You ready for it?
Ready.
All right. Here it is. This is the one. She's on. All right. So a person walks up to you, puts a gun in your head, and is like, if you don't recite 16 bars from a rap, you're going to die. Do you feel like you could recite 16 bars from a rap and live, or do you think you would die?
Honestly, I would die.
What if they gave you a shot? Like, all right, here's your shot. You got to get at least 75% of the rap correct, or it's a rap for you. Do you think you could do it?
With Get Silly.
Get silly. That's the one. That's your
Yeah.
one. All right, you ready to do it?
I have to do it?
Yes, you have to do it. Yes, you have to do it.
Everyone plug your ears.
Go for it, and you're on.
I'm so nervous.
It is what it is. This is a part of the podcast.
The dance was silly. The lady's gonna feel me. If I listen, I can't.
So you're dead.
Dead. Boom.
Oh my gosh, you almost did it. You almost did it.
Almost.
You,
Mason's back here crying.
listen, you know what? You had a chance. And see, I'm just being honest with you. You know, you got to be ready for those type things.
I know.
I always like imagine, like, dude, if somebody put a gun on my head, like, hey, if you don't spit 16 bars, you're dead. Like, which one would I go with?
I need to use that as a study tactic.
Yeah, man. You know, we'll give you another shot later on, man. But I just want to pick your brain a little bit. You know what I mean? I gotta call the rest of your friends and see what they're about. But thank you so much. Thank you, Mason, also for being in this, man. I appreciate you guys. So as far as your social media, where can people reach you? Where can they find you?
Shaw. BreaShaw.
On IG?
On IG, and Twitter.
So that's the same thing, IG and Twitter, Brea Shaw on both of those?
Yeah.
What about you, Mason? Where can people find you?
My Instagram is Mason Hayes 10, MasonHays 10, and then Twitter is Mason Hayes 2.
Okay, awesome. All right, make sure you text that to me because I'm gonna make sure I put those things up in the things as well. Thank you guys so much, man.
All right.
Thanks for being a surprise guest, Mason. Appreciate it, man. All the best to you in your rehab, man. Hope to see you on the field soon. Thank you, baby girl. I appreciate it. Love you guys.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.